this game for $5 at a video gaming convention, and I still paid too much for it. Let's get a look at the box, though. I mean, you look at the box and you automatically get hype. I mean, there's our gruff guy over here. Looks like he can take several hits at one time and still keep going. Plus, there's a demon on the box. Whenever you want to sell a game, you put a demon on the box. Let's put it in.
Years, though of course, they had been present long before then. The Dead Walker army,
okay, this is
endless
epic,
horde of
but
creatures under the Ice Lord's
they
command.
lied to me! Did you see how awesome that intro clip looked? That was some next-gen shit, but we get this instead? Take a listen to those voiceovers.
Down from the mountains in the north, annihilating all resistance on the continent. Each battle only served to swell their ranks with the defeated dead, and the bloodless world seemed ready to sink into an endless ice age.
I love it when the character starts jettisoning it off before even taking the first step. And check out those vistas. Okay, I can't spend the entire time criticizing the graphics because that would get old real fast. After deluging you with new but familiar game mechanics, you get thrown into your first act. Build and set traps for Peeler. Thankfully, Peeler's lackadaisical attitude proves as a great method for learning about the crafting mechanic. But uh-oh! Horde of undead inbound! I was ready to use this as a launching point for how garbage the controls are, but as it turns out, I just need to read the top right corner of the screen. I spent about 10 minutes just tripping up an endless supply of first arena monsters, not doing any damage. That doesn't mean the controls are complaint-free, though. We have this menu with skill trees, equipment, inventory management, quest logs, all the stuff you would expect to see in a modern RPG. However, they map these screens to more than one button on the controller. I guess the idea was you only needed to press one button to get to these screens, but if I'm playing one of these types of games, I like to go into a menu and do the clicky buttons before the major events start happening. So instead, what I would have liked to seen was only using the select button, and the directional pad could be used for quicker changes of combat styles. We'll get to those combat styles in a second, but let's keep going. So after defeating the budget closer horde, we go on through to a cave system where they take refuge from the big menace out there. Here's where we're introduced to a new class of enemy that can go through physical objects. I hate this crap. Not the fact that they can go through physical objects. That's a good way to introduce a new set of enemies in a closed-off area. Let's instead take a look at the footage. This is the crap I hate. They can teleport on you, and you take massive damage, and you can't dodge this. This makes range combat impossible. Not like that made that big of a difference anyway. Evidently, it's a huge problem for the game to give you arrows, so you have to craft them all yourself. Big win for the libertarians. Plus, this is before you're introduced to the flame. So literally no ranged attack. Later on in the game, we get introduced to the Spewer, or not Boomer. Left 4 Dead references aside, let's take a look here. You would think that a slow and brutal attack style, the warrior style, would work here, since this enemy is also slow. But no, not in this game! You have to switch to the faster ranger attack style and kite this guy forever. For those who don't know, kiting is the act of hitting, going back to recharge or dodge an impending brutal attack. This is my number 2 complaint for the game. The combat is way too slow. The reason I usually side with this ranger combat style is simply because it's the fastest one. Swiping and dodging feels right, and the warrior style is just god's awful slow. Even the warrior's dodge and off-guard move is slow, making it useless. I would appreciate a faster range style and a warrior style that's as fast as the current ranger one. There's probably speed buffs in here, but anyway. On to the first boss fight! This is actually pretty good. Having to attack the limbs separately is always a good time. Now, if I had to complain about something, it would be Bossman's army of archers here. These guys keep you from charging in, standing still, and smashing the melee button. But they got me running all over the arena. After beating the boss, we get the game's namesake. He's now bound by flame. This is when we get our cool pyromancy, the ability to create and control fire. We are also faced with moral dilemmas from here on out. That's right, a karma system. Don't worry though, it's actually not that invasive. So on our way to the next town, we have to go through a swamp that has this deadly, intelligent fungus growing in it. The fungus is strong stuff. A lot stronger than the undead. It was also at this point, right here, when I decided to soft rage quit for the first time. You think Big Buffman could take maybe a dozen hits from these guys without dying, but no. 6. 6 hits. Anyway, this is the reason I quit here. Did you see how far away I was from the enemy? His tentacles could never hope to reach that far, and yet I still got meleeed. I kind of feel like we've reached a level in game design by now to where we don't have to rely on hit percent chance calculators or stock animation to count damage. If his tentacle doesn't reach the hit box, then it should count as a miss. It's 2014. I've been drinking beers for 5 years up to this point. So, after some encouragement from the patrons, I started the game up again. We slogged through the intelligent fungus and got to town.
This is Valvenor. It is not a beautiful place.
Well, that's comforting. I really wasn't expecting to see a beautiful place anywhere around here, so thanks for that. In town, the game decided to tell me about the equipment upgrade function. Quite nice. I decided to beeline for the main quest, but found these fungus guys too hard again. So digging through the menus, I found one I usually skip over on my way to other things at the end, the feats menu. Here are... Oh my gods! Health buffs! Holy crap! Now my character might die after 7 hits instead of 6! It's a miracle! Anyway, after my personal celebration, I decided to switch to doing a few side quests to see if I could get the health number up. Helping Mason's squad was easy, up until the 4th wave when it got ridiculous. With sheer luck and a sequence of events I could never duplicate again, the 4th wave was vanquished. Then I decided to get back to helping the local medic find food and medical supplies. Did that, and then went back on the Find Our Guys quest. It's not like I was expecting the quest I was on to be magically easier by this point, but I figured with a few more leveled up things under the belt, I could at least get through it. Nope! It was at this point I started questioning why I was even playing. And when that happens, you know you done goofed up. I even remembered I had laundry going on during the first recording, and I never felt a huge rush to get back to playing after going to the bathroom. This is where multiplayer would have been a huge boon for this game. Oddly enough, I share a lot of sentiments and opinions with this game that I do with the Diablo series. I've never been wowed by any Diablo storyline, as with this. Both of them have class systems, though you can only play as one in Bound by Flame. These are two completely different types of games, though, so why am I bringing this up? The thing that saved Diablo, for me anyway, was multiplayer. I would never have played it if I couldn't go around and vanquish beasts with my friends. There's no option for that here, and it hurts. How awesome would it be if I could have a party of human-controlled elves and red scribes to go with? Boss fights would have been awesome. Elves could have been on support, red scribes could have been providing buffs, and the mercenary would be Mr. Melee. There are AI-controlled companions, but yeah, they're just good for standing around and getting shot. That's the root of the problem. This game is just a pile of unpolished meh characters, mechanics, quests, everything. These graphics and voice acting are enjoyably bad, but the game itself just barely dips into so bad it's good territory. After playing the game, I learned that there are PC and PS4 versions, so I'm pretty sure those graphics would be more on par with the opening cutscene. A couple of small improvements outside of the ones already made in the video would make this game sing. The biggest one would have been having archery be its own combat style. As it sits right now, it's just another notch in your other moves category, one that you have to take time out to craft arrows for. But I always had a good time dodging arrows in video games. There's no way to dodge ranged attacks at all in this game, at least that I found. With ranged pyro attacks, I can see archery just kind of falling by the wayside as you progress through the game, especially since mana regenerates automatically. But again, you have to craft ammo for your bow. You know, more polish in general would have been great. The music is great, though. Fight scenes were pulse-pounding. And the town music was oddly comforting. Now that is a combat system.